Hello and welcome to the latest instalment of the Rangers Women's Supporters Group podcast. Supporters Group? Supporters Group. It's one of these days. I'm joined by Car and Alan as always. How are you both doing?
Cold, but aye, alright.
Alan, feel the chill in the air?
Yeah, the usual complaint after watching games on a Sunday. You know, we're back to normal now.
Oh, that's good. We'll get straight at the news. First of all, I'd like to wish a speedy recovery to Lisa Martinez, formerly of this parish. She's unfortunately suffered another ACL injury, her third car, and she just seems to have no luck, does she?
I know. I think maybe once it's happened, that would be just absolutely wrecking the place. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I think once it's happened once, you are more susceptible to it. You'll have weakness there, but for it to happen 3 times, it's just horrendous for Lisa. I think everyone knows how big a fan of Lisa I am, so it was gotten to me that I did have to translate it because I don't know French, so I did have to go and translate it to see what was going on, but hopefully it's an easier process for her to recover from than the last 2, but I don't know if it becomes harder once it's happened before, I don't know, but hopefully the team around her will rally around and give her the support and help that she needs. And at least she's kind of back home, so she'll have her family around her to help. But yeah, best of luck and speedy recovery to her.
Yeah, and it's always one of those tricky ones that, as Car says, once you've had one, it is likely to happen again. But Three's just really sore luck. And I think she was just starting to get back into a rhythm with her team and that. So she just seems to get a run and then ends up being back out on the treatment table.
Yeah, it's such a horrible injury, you know, and such a horrible looking recovery process. And I hadn't actually seen that news about Lisa, so that was a bit of a shock when you said that. Such a positive person, you know, so much missed by a lot of the fans, you know, and she was so popular, so charming, so sort of warm to all the fans. You know, she was clearly a great sort of a presence around the club. So I'm sure she'll be absolutely devastated by that, but she knows the road to recovery. She knows all the things to do. I don't know how much that maybe shortens the recovery, second or third time over. You know, she'll obviously have to sort of battle sort of doubts and fears that it's going to happen again. You know, happening once is horrible, twice is terribly unlucky, but 3 times is just, you know, unthinkable that's going to happen. But hopefully, you know, Lisa recovers well, you know, and she's got the right people around her and they'll help her through it, and hopefully we'll see her back on the pitch next year.
Yep, definitely. So speedy recovery, and you've got all our support, Lisa. So, Car, the transfer window ended, and there's really not much to talk about because nobody else came in for us.
No, and I guess that makes it easier and quicker for this segment, but the fact that we didn't bring anyone in, no loans, nothing, what is madness to me when we absolutely need players in the door. But maybe they have, but surely they would have announced it. But I don't know if I'm just really clutching at straws here. Maybe there's something in the pipeline that they just can't announce yet because of international visas or something. I don't know, but I don't think so. I think that's us now till January, which is just absolute madness in my opinion. But that's what the club have decided, and seemingly not really backed Leanne, so that's on their heads, be it whatever happens.
Yeah, Alan, it's disappointing. We were expecting at least hopefully another couple of bodies in, so to get none in, it's just really, you look at the bench like today, which we'll come to, it's so light with players. We were really thinking, right, we're going to strengthen that a bit, but nope, nothing.
Yeah, really frustrating that we've no added, especially late in the window. You know, after the win last Sunday, everybody's heads were up. You know, a bit of positivity, get 1 or 2 more in the door, and you know, it would have just added that. I think once this season we've been able to name 7 subs. You know, that's quite telling. I did notice that after the window closed, you know, like a couple of 2 or 3 days later, there were still clubs bringing players in. And not just on free transfers, they were signing from other clubs. So I'm not really sure where the differences are to the transfer window in the men's game, but there seems to be some sort of options open. You know, I hear people talk about the game. Maybe there's one more still to come in, but I don't know if people are taking sort of comments out of context or just reaching a wee bit. But it'd be nice if there's any possibility we can get some support in for the girls, because I really feel that Leanne Crane's come in and she's up against it with the lack of prep time and the lack of replacements for the players that have left.
Yeah, I think they had said that you can still announce players, but they've obviously had it's obviously had to have went through before the window closed. So I suppose there is still tiny bit of hope, but at this point, I think it's maybe scraping the bottom of the barrel a bit. So that's obviously if we have something to discuss next week, that'd be great, but I very much doubt it. Next up, we have a fixture venue change, easy for me to say. This week, the Rangers Aberdeen game on Sunday, September the 21st, is now at Broadwood instead of Ibrox Car. They never really gave much reason, I don't think, why it was changed, but it's probably not that surprising because, of course, this was going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, Alan speculated it was because of the match the day before on the pitch. I'm not really sure, but it'd be nice if they could just tell us. And if that was going to be an issue, then why did they choose to move women's games to Ibrox if the pitch can't withstand 2 days in a row being played on? Kind of defeats the whole purpose. But nevertheless, maybe it'll be a good thing. Maybe we'll play a bit better at Broadwood against them. I don't know, but it just kind of makes a mockery of the whole situation of moving as many games as possible to Ibrox, and then you get a week's notice. Nah, it's not going to be there anymore, with no reason.
Yeah. Well, the men aren't playing that much football on the pitch, so the pitch should probably be fine.
Yeah, and after next week, we'll probably not have any more League Cup games, so you know that'll add take away any more possible clashes. I think there's very few weekends where there's clashes over the rest of the year. I think there's another 3 clashes, you know, where there's two home games in one weekend. So hopefully majority of the games are still going to be at Ibrox. I think next week would have been a great opportunity to go and get a decent performance, you know, open up the pitch a lot more again against an Aberdeen team. It's still not full time yet. You know, I think that would have helped the players a wee bit of feel good. You know, we kind of get into the sort of rut where we only played the so-called bigger games at Ibrox, and then we're struggling, and it just keeps snowballing and adding pressure. The players need to sort of work on and sort of get past, because I really don't see why we needed to move that game next week, but it has moved, and you know we'll be there and get as many numbers in the gate as we can. But obviously no clash in terms of days with the men's game, so there's plenty of opportunity for people who can do both.
Yep, definitely. I'm not sure if the tickets are on sale yet, but they will probably go on sale this week, so definitely get along and get tickets. Today, obviously, we're at Peters Hill for the Partick game. We started with Fife, Austin, Pegram, Hill, Docherty, McCleary, Shinji, Wilkinson, Macaulay, Arnott, and Laura Berry. Gosh, happy with that team?
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to have a back four of players in the rightful position for a change, which was quite nice. And then, of course, Laura Berry starting is always going to make me happy. So I thought that might be the case. I thought she might be in from the start. So I was happy that was the case.
Alan, what was your thoughts when you seen the team?
I was a wee bit surprised making any changes after last week. Good to see Laura Berry getting a chance through the middle and starting up front. You know, I think she needed that. Really pleased to see Ailey starting at right back as well. And a chance for Jodie to get more involved in the play in the middle of the park. So, well, surprised to see a couple of changes. You know, it was good to see players in different positions. You know, in positions that I think they'll do well in.
Yep, so the first half started cash and not that great because 13 minutes in, Partick go 1-0 up. Decent goal, we will give them that, but Rachel Donaldson does have that in her locker, but just disappointing from our point of view how as Tracy had said, their defence was all over the shop, and it basically was. It was wide open. Just let her take her shot, and they take the lead.
Yeah, she just waltzed right through, didn't she? Was able to set up and then just had to put it over Jenna, lob it over Jenna, which is obviously something they've identified because they then do it later on in the game and nearly get another one, but it was just far too easy. And I think our players were just frustrated and they were trying to grab her rather than trying to get in front or play football. I've stolen that from Alan because that's what he said at the game. But it's true, they were trying to, they kept doing it across the whole game though. They were just grabbing at people instead of playing football and being better than them. But nobody could stop her and she managed to get it. And it is a fantastic goal. If we had scored that, I'd be absolutely buzzing with it. But it's just a bit frustrating when it's us and we've had such a high from last week and then we thought, that's it, we've sorted, we'll come into this game, we'll be fine. And then we just looked so disjointed. The team didn't look like they knew how to play together. There was no good passing. It was just all, as Tracy said, all over the shop. It was just ridiculous. But a good goal nonetheless, but not great for us.
Yeah, then the first half, we never really recovered that much. Partick were getting... had another couple of chances. They were unlucky not to go 2-0 up, and then Rachel Donaldson, I think it was again, was unlucky not to basically get the same kind of goals. We could have been 3-0 behind quite easily that first half. We had half chances. Wilco hit the post, but it was just really scrappy for us, and we just, as Cara said, looked so disjointed.
Yeah, the balls through, were overhitting. We weren't really giving anybody a chance. I think a couple of times Laura Berry maybe should have went and opened it up onto the left side and went down, but maybe a bit too keen and cautious trying to get onto her right foot, and turning into trouble. But the chances Partick had were particularly when was it Leah Tweedy? I think was running clean through and goal. She's got to score and just didn't have any conviction. So fortunate for us. And then they hit the bar for distance, and again that probably should have been in, and Partick should have been in probably 2 or 3 up at half time. So it was probably an escape that went in at half time 1-0 and a chance to regroup and come out for the second half. But as we came out in the second half, no changes, and initially we didn't really see much difference in terms of how we were playing. Just lacking intensity and lacking tempo.
Leanne gives them their usual, what managers do, kind of 15 minutes to try and turn it around and listen to what she'd said at half time, and still wasn't really working. And we never really changed how we were playing until Brogan came on. Alice came on in the middle, kind of, I think, made us a bit stronger. Like, she's very quiet but seems to be effective in what she does, Alice Griffiths. Brogan obviously came on, and then we really started to get a bit of energy because the first half wore that lethargic look. Really came on and started to get things happening, and then obviously we'll come on to the goals after that.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as Brogan came on, it completely changed the game. She wasn't getting much support to begin with, and she was trying to go alone at points and was twisting and turning in the box and then just getting the ball taken off of her. But she was trying, she was putting a lot of effort in, and the intensity upped when she came on. Same with Alice, which was good. So I think it kind of got the team going again, that we really need to step it up here, which it shouldn't take one player coming on for that to happen. But we've complained we've not really had a player to come on and grab games by the scruff of the neck and sort things out when we've needed it. So it's nice that we've got Brogan to do that for us. But yeah, it completely changed the game, and probably should have been on earlier, but as you say, Leanne, just wanted to give them that time, see if they could fix it, and obviously they didn't, so they got the changes because they didn't do what they were told.
Yeah, and then 67 minutes, we finally get back into the game. Alan, who else but Wilco? I think Laura was quite unlucky not to get the goal herself. It kind of bobbled a bit, and then she was like, oh, just get to Wilco, she'll score, and we're back.
Yeah, I think it's how it's been going for Laura Berry lately. She'd had a couple of half chances that kept getting blocked, but she had the wherewithal. She kept the ball alive, squared it for Katie, who does what Katie does and gets us back in level terms. So much more relief than any sort of joy that we celebrated that goal with. Laura had to watch her when she was trying to grab the ball back because she'd already been booked by this point. So, she kept herself out of trouble there. And just got we get back into it. I think the goal gave us a massive lift, and we quickly sort of took advantage.
Yeah, Karen, once we get one goal, as always happens, we've got another one, but this time Laura Berry getting on the score sheet finally, but an assist for Brogan after all the good work that she'd been putting in.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously celebrated this quite hard because I was buzzing Laura Berry.
We've seen you on the
TV. But yeah, Brogan and Wilco kind of 1-2 on the edge of the box, and then Brogan sees Laura Berry standing there, so just plays the ball into her, and she just has to smash it into the back of the net on the kind of volley, half volley, I don't know what you would call it. I don't remember it that well because I was too busy just jumping up and down to remember the goal, and there's no highlights out yet, but I know it was a fantastic goal because it was Laura Berry and she smashed it into the back of the net. It puts us ahead for the change and kind of settles us down. But everything Brogan did for that goal, everything that Brogan did when she came on was just incredible.
Yeah. Maycroft came on, Alan, at some point, and I haven't actually wrote down who went off for her, but
Laura Berry.
Laura Berry, there we go. And Maycroft's got herself her first goal for us, and I think she rather enjoyed it, and I think everybody else enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, I think we enjoyed the fact that we could be seen May score the first of hopefully many. Really good move. Got a wee bit of a breaky ball. May's ball probably wasn't reaching Brogan until it took a nick off one of the Partick players, but Brogan done really well once she got the ball, came inside, laid it back, and May just so confident for such a young player. Gets her first goal, and I say I'm pretty sure, very hopeful it certainly won't be the last time we see her scoring.
It's just causing chaos tonight.
That's why people tune into the podcast to see the adventures of this.
Nothing to do with any of us, it's just for Zeus. It was also another assist for Brogan there as well, which was great. She was obviously made a really big difference. Then, just to put a wee bit gloss on it, Kim Shin-ji gets her first goal, and it was a bit of a stramash in the box. But it was a great finish by her, and that made it 4-1 and made it a much more comfortable result.
Yeah, it wasn't really a 4-1 game. I know it sounds crazy when you say that, and it has been, but it really wasn't a 4-1 game. But yeah, she's in front of goal and she kind of spins around. She's got the ball and I think kind of takes a goalkeeper away, and she just has to kind of spin back and put it in the back of the net. But I thought she was going to hit it first time, but I appreciate that she took a second to just settle herself, turn back round and put it in the back of the net. But yeah, she had an excellent game again, but it was nice that we did finally I didn't think at one point that we were going to actually get ahead or score. So the fact that it ended up being 4-1 is great. It has annoyed me because I had 4-0, but never mind.
It's just, once they start tired, and as always, that's just what happens. But 4-1 in the end, Alan. As Carr says, wasn't a 4-1 game, but we'll take it. Yeah,
I think right through the first half, it was one of the games you just wanted to find a way to get 3 points and get out of there. It's definitely a much better surface to play football on, than it was a couple of years ago at Pearsall Park. That pitch is settled in quite nice, so conditions were decent. There's no excuses. That we could see it was one of the days it just wasn't going to be the best performance, and it was all about grinding it out. I thought, but at times in the second half, we were looking like the players were starting to just no show for a ball, and that was a wee bit worrying. But the players worked really hard and they grounded it out, and they kept at it, and they got the reward with getting some goals, some first goals of the season for a few of the players, and they got 3 points and get out of there. And I think they'll sort of look back on the game as a whole, but I think they'll be happy at the end of the day to go away with 3 points, albeit knowing they need to play a lot better.
Yep, definitely room for improvement. Carr, player of the match then? I think we might know who you're going to give this to.
No, Brogan.
Oof, jeez.
I know that is very surprising, and it does kind of hurt me a little bit to not say Laura Berry. But Brogan deserves it. She came on and she just absolutely changed the game. I don't think we win that game if not for Brogan coming on. So I think it has to be a couple of assists and everything that she added to the game, the energy, the intensity. So for me, it's Brogan.
There we go. If anybody had a bet on before I was asking that, very sorry, you have just lost. Alan, would you agree with that?
I won't. Yeah, I don't know. It's quite
You're going to give
quite
us
hard.
anyway.
I really wasn't the best game. I thought Kim was excellent again. You know, I thought Ellie Austin played really well. You know, we didn't make the most of her overlapping runs in the first half. You know, her and Mia ended up getting a bit too close. You know, not enough space to play the passes, or it was coming inside when Ellie was going down the right, and even when she moved into centre back, she looked really composed. So she had a really good game. As Carl says, Brogan has been a massive impact on us winning that game. But I think over the 90 minutes, I'd probably lean towards giving it to Kim.
Yeah, I think if it's a full game, Kim. But for the impact that Brogan made, I think overall I would give it to Brogan just because, as you said, Cara, that I think without her, I don't know how we get back into that game because she did totally change it when she came on. So, yeah, between the two, fight it out amongst yourselves in the poll, and I'll figure out tomorrow who wins it. The next game, obviously, as we spoke about earlier, is the Aberdeen game, Carrot Broadwood, 2:00 kickoff. Do you think the team changes much, or do you think we'd just try and get this team kind of settled in and hope that then makes the first halves a bit better? Because first half's really where we seem to be struggling in.
Yeah, I mean, and from the team that started, I don't know if there's that many changes. Potentially, Laura Berry takes a seat, and then you push Mia up a bit higher. But I don't know. It probably is the same team. I think it probably is a good idea to get the team settled and it be a consistent team while we only have a handful of players because we don't have much choice. But I mean, I said this about Partick. It's Aberdeen, so we should have enough to be comfortable and maybe can start May from the off, or Alice or Fallon potentially, give them some game time. But I don't know, after that performance, maybe we just stick with a settled, experienced team, and then once we're a few up, we can change it.
Yeah, and that first half we're really open in the midfield and defence. Alex, would you like bringing, like say, Alice in, settles it a bit more? If that shores up the defence, would you make any changes?
Yeah, I think we'll see something a wee bit different in the middle. You know, somebody else playing with Kim. You know, I think she'll stay in the team. You know, Kathy's obviously on her recover for injury, and she's played 90 minutes 2 weeks running. So maybe she'll get a rest and Fallon will come in. I really want to see us get a run with Fallon and Ellie playing at fullback. You know, I think they'll add a totally different dimension to the team. You know, it'll be like watching Rachel and Nick a few years ago. You know, turn down the wing and supporting the wingers. So I'm really looking forward to a run where both of them are playing fullback. I did check when you said that the tickets for Aberdeen are on sale right now, so people can jump on and get them. So should be a decent game. You know, it's a decent chance for us to go and perform, and hopefully we take a bit of comfort in how we finish the game today, because we need to go and be winning games. You know, it's got to be a super competitive league. The squad's obviously not as big as we'd like to see it, so the earlier we can get points on the board, I think the better.
Yeah, definitely. Just touching on, because I was just thinking of the defence there, Car. Obviously, during the week we've seen that Laura Rafferty's had surgery on kind of groin issue that she's had. It's been some, I can't remember the name yet, but she seems like she's going to be out for another wee while, which is obviously not great when we've not brought anybody in, and Leah Eddy's also out, so we obviously wish Raf all the best as well.
Yeah, I mean, I know she posted the kind of part 1 to that. I think it was last week or the week before, and I kind of saw that, and I thought it's a bit strange that the club haven't mentioned anything, and then she posted part 2 just to kind of inform everyone what was going on. But yeah, it doesn't sound great, and it must be incredibly difficult mentally to then go through that, and you sorry, it's just wrecking the place again. Trying to get back into playing wise, rehab wise, and mentally trying to recover from it must be incredibly difficult. So yeah, obviously wish her all the best. And she was in fine spirits today when she ran down the front to shout at the players when we finally did score, because she was happy that we finally had scored. So she's definitely up for it, and she loves the team, so can't wait to have her back in the squad and being able to play for us.
Yep, definitely. So wish her all the best and hopefully she's back very, very soon. Loan report, Alan?
Loan report, a couple of games still going on, so yet to see if Sophie Black comes on for Marvel. She started on the bench while the Boyce is on international duty, which is probably why she missed out playing last week, and she's not in the Motherwell squad today. Sophie Townsley played 90 minutes for Hamilton. They lost 1-0 against Glasgow City, so all in all, a fairly respectable result for them against a much changed City side. Gartcairn lost 2-0 away at Queen's Park. Mia MacArthur played 90 minutes. Rebecca Simpson didn't appear to get off the bench, but Alba Stewart did come on, make another appearance. Sophie Rutherford started that game and played the 90 minutes for Queen's Park, although didn't get on the score sheet. Lucy Livy came on in the 76th minute for Boroughmuir Thistle, and both Natalie Bandura and Casey McKenna started for Spartans against Boroughmuir, but that game finished 0-0. So pretty decent minutes for everybody, and more encouragement for the young players.
Yep, Card, exactly. Obviously, what we're always after. They're getting plenty of minutes, and I feel like as each season goes on, they seem to get more and more minutes, and we're like, oh, this is great. They're actually getting more time minutes. But I think the standout ones, Sophie Townsley's Hamilton, only a 1-0 defeat to Glasgow City. I think Glasgow City went down to 10 players, but still, that's a bit of a mental result, isn't it?
It is, and unfortunately didn't see it, so it would have been interesting to see if they had any chances, or because you know what Sophie's like, she's always in and amongst goals or creating chances. But yeah, it's been a really good, I don't know the word I'm looking for. It's good for all the players to get minutes, and it's nice that other teams are recognising how good our academy is and that we've got players to offer to help across the season, just as long as they don't get too comfortable and then steal them at the end of their loan. Be a bit annoying, but yeah, it's good. It's good to see that they're improving across the board from the ones that we have seen. I know that Motherwell are currently losing 2-0 to Hearts, so that's not ideal. But again, don't know if Sophie's made it off the bench.
Yeah, there's always going to be these defeats, but it builds that resilience and that we always talk about. Alan, did you have a look at the score predictor at all?
Can't obviously finish it with. As we're sitting here recording this, it's only 5 o'clock, so there's still a couple of games to finish. The highlight of the score predictor so far right now was Tracy kicking you behind, so you'll have to hope for a change in the later results and claw some points back.
She's going to love that. We did actually look at the results as we were going through them. I think she had a few that were spot on, and I was like, that's what I get for calling you out of the podcast, but never mind. I'll learn my lesson. I know. I'm going to let her,
because you never know when you might have to eat them. So
I know. I shall love that. Anyway, there's obviously still a few results to go, so there's every chance I'll claw back. Unlikely. But yeah, so if there's anything else, I think that's pretty much us.
Natalie Bandura won SWPL 2 Player of the Month. Yeah.
That's right. She did, yep, which is probably no great surprise because she's a very good player. I think she maybe got a call up as well, or was it that? I don't know. I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she did have a call up, but
for Poland. I'm sure I read that somewhere.
But so three goals and 4 starts for Natalie Bandura, ever present for Spartans so far. Mm-hmm. So absolutely brilliant start for young Natalie. We saw her came off the bench in pre-season against Middlesbrough and score. So as we say about the loan report, we're really encouraging it. Our girls are going out there and not just getting a chance, but actually taking that chance and making an impression. You know, I think we shot ourselves in the foot by not keeping 1 or 2 of them in the building. You know, given we are quite so short, you know, I think some of them could contribute to the first team this year. But you know, the only other thing to add, you know, it's good to see progress on Sarah Ewan's recovery as well. Through the week, we saw that posted on our social media. You know, she looks like she's recovering well, but still think she'll probably be a wee bit away, given it's an ACL injury. So hopefully the recovery's going well after she had a tidy up operation in the summer. So we'll obviously wish Sarah all the best on her continued recovery.
Yeah, definitely. And hopefully she's back sooner rather than later, because up front I feel like we're, I don't even want to say it, but you know what I was going to say, but we'll just leave it there. But yeah, for Natalie Bandura, we'll focus on the positives. Having a great start to the season, and I feel like she's constantly on the Spartans page as well, because it comes up a lot. She seems to be good for their content and that as well, Cap. So she seems like she's great all round.
Yeah, she seems to be the poster child for Spartans. She's involved in everything, it seems like. But yeah, I mean, she's a fantastic player, so I can understand why they're doing that. I'm sure they have other fantastic players in their squad. I'm not that familiar with Spartans this year, but I'm sure they do. But she seems to have really taken a shine to them. They seem to like her, so they've really made a show of it, which is good. It'll be good for her confidence and good for her development as well. But I know that she plays regularly for Poland, so I'm sure that having a call up is no great surprise to her, and she'll probably score again for them as it is. So yeah, it's great to see, and hopefully again we can keep hold of her come the end of the loan, and it's not one that we'll lose out on. I mean, there's that many in the Partick team today that we kept saying, well, that's one of ours, that was one of ours, and you're thinking what could have been had they stayed. So hopefully that's the case for Natalie.
Yeah. I know, because we always say, oh well, we could always get them back, but they just never seem to come back. So if we can just keep them and use them when they're that good, then that would be great. So yeah, we'll leave it there, and obviously get your tickets. As Alan said, they're on sale for Aberdeen next week. Get along to Broadwood and obviously support the team, and hopefully we get quite a few results. I'll wait until Tracy puts her score in, and I'll copy that result. Just kidding. As always, I'm not. She's doing better than I've got to do something. As always, thanks for joining me, Alan and Kath.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, thanks, team.
See you next week.